It's the first day of schools reopening in Myanmar. The military government has stepped up security outside some schools, which came under attack from armed groups in recent weeks. But authorities are also facing resistance from teachers on strike and worried parents, as Leong Wai-kit reports.
A small village in Bago, central Myanmar. Here, teachers are leading students to protest against the Myanmar military. They're saying they'll only return to schools after State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi is freed from detainment, and that they vowed to boycott classes under military rule. This protest took place in early May, when teachers responded to the military's plan to reopen schools in June. Some 47,000 schools across the country had been closed for about a year, first disrupted by COVID-19 and then the military coup. By late April, the army had planned for students to resume classes. Army officials began to meet school leaders and inspected compounds. But teachers remained defiant. They're among numerous professionals on the civil disobedience movement. Myanmar's Teachers Federation says nearly 30% of the country's 450,000 teachers are on strike. The Federation says more than 125,000 teachers have been suspended by the military authorities for joining the civil disobedience movement to oppose the coup. And there are other obstacles.
In recent weeks, schools as well as education offices across the country have been targeted by arson and bomb blasts. Most of these attacks happen late at night. The Myanmar army has accused the pro-democracy camp of sabotage, spreading fear among parents and warning them not to send their children back to school. The attacks have had their effects. Parents are now concerned about safety.
We reached out to parents for their views. All had declined to speak on camera, citing safety concerns. They told us they won't be sending their children to school anytime soon. Some say they don't feel safe enough to do so. Other parents, however, say they do worry about their children's education, but they insist it's more important to join the teachers as well as other professionals in the ongoing strike and will boycott school classes. Earlier this week, schools were reopened for enrollment to prepare for classes in June. In some schools, only a handful of students turned up to register. Other schools could not even carry out the enrollment exercise because of the lack of staff. The military is doing all it can to convince teachers and students to return to class. It said it would beef up security at schools where necessary. The army chief has, on various occasions, stressed the importance of education. It's also taking a carrot-and-stick approach with teachers on strike. Now, on the one hand, it says it welcomes teachers currently on strike to return to the workforce. On the other hand, it's taking to task teachers who are active in the civil disobedience movement. With many sectors going on strike, the military is keen to reopen schools, hoping that could pave the way back to some form of normalcy. But many in Myanmar are taking a different path, one where there's no turning back. A journey of continued defiance, one that will place democracy ahead of everything else. Leong Wai-kit, CNA.